If you've ever thought of yourself as a future property tycoon, this video will open the door to the world of flipping houses. If you know a bit about flipping houses already, you might want to skip straight to the fees, charges and financing section. Otherwise, in this video, I'll be covering what flipping houses means, what costs you need to consider, how to choose the right property, and what to consider when thinking about refurbishments. And if you stick around until the end, I've even included a special bonus section detailing some common house flipping pitfalls you'll want to look out for. Flipping houses is a term used for when you buy a property and then resell it in a short period of time, usually within a year, with the aim of making money from the profits. Back in the early 2000s, when house prices were skyrocketing, you may have been able to flip a house and make a profit without doing a whole lot to the property. When prices are fluctuating or rising more slowly, as we've seen in recent years, it's likely you'll have to do some renovations and improvements to help boost the property's value. If you can't buy the property outright, you'll need to consider your borrowing options. If you're not going to be living in the property, you won't be able to take out a residential mortgage. Not to mention the fact that these mortgages are typically designed to be paid off over 20 to 30 years, likely far too long-term of a commitment if you're looking to sell the property within the year. Similarly, unless you plan on renting out your property, a buy-to-let mortgage isn't going to work either. A more suitable option would be to look into short-term financing options like a bridging loan, sometimes referred to as a buy-to-sell mortgage. In theory, a bridging loan can be set up quicker than a residential mortgage, but interest charges tend to be higher and you'll still need cash to stump up a 20 to 25% deposit and loan fees. Also, bear in mind that you will have to pay capital gains tax on your profit when you sell your property, unless you're doing it as part of a business. The amount of tax you'll pay will be calculated as a percentage of your profits and based on your income tax bracket. Check out our capital gains tax guide in the description below for more insight on what you're likely to pay and any exemptions that might apply. You want to aim for a minimum return of around 20%. So if you bought a place for £250,000 and spent £50,000 on it, between renovations and selling costs, you'd want to sell it for no less than £350,000 to turn a 20% profit of £50,000. When choosing the right property, consider these three factors. The first is to balance major renovations that will significantly boost the property's value with any major costly issues. It's super important to get a building survey to thoroughly inspect the property before putting down any money. The next step is to compare the data. Look at where house prices are increasing most. Speak to estate agents for a localised view of what's hot in certain areas. Look at what size properties have the most appeal, whether it's flats or 2 or 3 bed houses, and compare how similar properties are selling in the area you're keen on. The final step is all about location, location, location. Consider local transport links and amenities, the crime rate, and whether there are any good schools nearby if you're targeting families. You could have the nicest house in the world, but if there's nothing around it, it could be hard to shift. Relatively cheap improvements you can do yourself, like redecorating, replacing old floors, repainting the kitchen or tidying up the garden, can go a long way to adding additional value to your property. More costly or complex repairs should be taken into consideration before purchase, so you can weigh up whether the outlay and extra time will be worth the selling price. Specialised work like plumbing and electrics should be done by experts, and if you're getting tradespeople in to help, make sure you get multiple quotes. If you're going to project manage the refurbishments yourself, make sure you're aware of the time and labour commitments required. Otherwise, invest in a contractor to handle the project for you. A common pitfall is miscalculating your costs, particularly around stamp duty, legal fees, taxes, estate agent charges, and the cost of the finance you're using to buy the property. To make the most profit, you need to have a good handle on your budget. Not researching the area properly. That bargain property might turn out to be in an unpopular area and you could struggle to sell it on. Underestimating the amount of time and money it may take to renovate the property. If you're new to the property renovation game, make sure you have a realistic timescale and contingency budget. Be realistic about what work you can do yourself and what work you'll need to pay a professional to carry out. And finally, overestimating the price that you'll be able to sell it for. Make sure you research comparable properties in the same area and don't overvalue your asking price. For more information on flipping houses, head to finder.com. I've tagged a whole bunch of useful links in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like and subscribe to our channel, and be sure to hit that bell button to be the first to know when a new video drops. As always, thanks for watching.